Hello, welcome to Temple Baptist Church here in Poplar, Bluff, Missouri. We're with you today to share a little bit of God's Word with you. Hopefully it encourages you and just maybe makes your day a little brighter. We're going to be in Psalms chapter 96, and I'm not going to read any but one verse of that. You know how I am. I'm lazy, don't want to read a whole bunch of verses, but I always encourage you to, if you read verses 1 through 13, you'll find out everything here that the Psalms is talking about, and it's the Psalms to the song of praise to God, and coming in judgment. So they're praising God here, and it says in verse 2, "Sing to the Lord, bless His name, proclaim the good news of His salvation from day to day." That is probably the best advice we could get, and it comes from the best person that could give it, and that's God. But let's just think about this for a second. Is there something that you make sure you do every day? There's things we do every day. For example, brushing our teeth, maybe watching the news. I don't do that, but that's something a lot of people do every day. Or reading the Bible, or just giving your spouse a little hug or something like that. There are some things that we make time for every day, don't we? We're going to do these things, what we use the old term, we're going to do these things religiously. These are, our routine is set, we're going to do this. And habits are important, I think. Good habits, anyhow, are important because they shape our lives. Like I say, they get us in a structured way of doing things. And, whether or not we realize it, they also reveal what our true priorities are. What are our true priorities? That's the things I'm going to do every day. I'm going to do this without regard probably to anything else. And so, all these things that I mentioned, and there's others that we do every day, is just like that. But, we see something else here that we should make sure to do every day. Not just occasionally, but every day. Show forth His salvation from day to day. The phrase "show forth," I think, could be translated as tell or proclaim. Tell or proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ, the good news of God. And so we should take time every day to tell about the salvation we have received from the Lord. We're going to come across somebody every day that we can witness to or say something good to about the Lord. And we're not going to obey this command perfectly, and grace is sufficient to cover our failures, even though we, knowing to do good and do it not, that's just a sin. And I know to do the speed limit, but if I choose not to, it's just the way it is. And we just think of the difference it could make in your life, or in somebody else's life, and the lives of others. If you make a conscious effort, if we make a conscious, if we make a conscious effort to speak to Jesus at least once every day, speak of Jesus at least once every day, that would do it. God has given you a place of influence and the ability to share the gospel with specific people that we encounter. We all have our own network of people that we encounter every day, and we should be able to witness to them. You may be able to reach people who others cannot. I've heard this before, and I'm a preacher, and they expect me to do that, and they see me coming, they're going to run and hide, but they see you coming, maybe they're not going to run and hide. Let's be on the lookout for opportunities to tell as many people as possible about the grace of God. That's what we're here for. We're here to share the good news, go into all the world and preach the gospel. We're to witness every day of Jesus. Our life itself can be a witness. So come and be a part of our services here at Temple. We meet on Sunday mornings. Our first service is at 8 o'clock. Then we have our Sunday school classes beginning at 9. And then our second worship service on Sunday morning is 10 o'clock. Sunday nights at 6, Wednesday night at 7. May God bless you is our prayer.